Unbelievable. Arrogant Hostess exposed after expelling Black Billionaire from his own yacht party. The sun dipped low over the azure waters of Harbor Bay, casting a golden glow across the yacht as laughter and music filled the air. The Johnsons were here, ready to celebrate another summer of hard work and resilience. The magnificent yacht gleamed, adorned with vibrant decorations that swung gently in the salty breeze. Marcus Johnson, now a billionaire and a beacon of hope, stood tall at the helm, his family's journey clear in his heart. Memories flooded in. Late nights at the family diner, the scent of fried chicken lingering, and their dreams dancing in the warm air. They hadn't just built wealth. They built a legacy, a testament to perseverance. As friends arrived, the energy swelled, smiles dazzling under the sun. Yet, lurking in the shadows was Valerie Parks, a wealthy socialite with a distaste for anything that threatened her elite circle. "Look at them," Valerie scoffed, eyeing the Johnsons with disdain as she swirled her champagne. "They don't belong here." Her voice dripped with condescension, the amusement in her eyes faltering as Marcus greeted guests. Before long, the night blossomed. The food was exquisite, laughter infectious. But as twilight settled, Valerie's temper ignited. She stormed up to Marcus, eyes blazing. "You're ruining the ambience. This isn't a neighborhood barbecue." Her words sliced through the celebration like a jagged knife. Gasps filled the air. Stunned, the crowd fell silent. Marcus remained still, tension thick in the air. He felt his family's struggles wash over him, their values grappling within him. But in one moment all that hope shattered. With icy aplomb, Valerie demanded Marcus leave, branding him an intruder at his own party. Whispers erupted around the yacht, disbelief darkening the festive ambience. Friends exchanged incredulous glances, indignation coursing through them. Suddenly, it wasn't just about the Johnsons. It was about respect and dignity. They remembered the stories, their parents recounting late-night confessions over diner tables, invoking determination and resilience. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. In the days that followed, Valerie clung to her pearls, mulling over the damage done. Her insincere apology triggered an avalanche of backlash, conversations awash in disbelief and discontent rippling through the town. The community rallied, converging at town hall, voices rising in unity, demanding acknowledgement of every hard-working soul. And there stood Marcus, amid the turmoil, wrestling with his heart. Should he retaliate against her, holding on to that hurt? Or should he walk the path of mercy, embodying the values that his family instilled in him? He felt the pull, grappling with rage and compassion. The rallying cries grew louder, echoing justice and resilience, an anthem for the unheard. Orchestrated chaos, shifting emotions, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Would Marcus choose to honor his family's legacy of grace? The air hung heavy, dreams and determination swirling together in a whirlpool of uncertainty. As voices surged at the town hall, the scene painted a portrait of hope amidst scorn, asking, what comes next for the Johnsons and their dream? Marcus stood at the center of the town hall, the energy sizzling around him. Voices boomed, echoing his own heart's tensions. As he gazed out at the crowd, he saw more than just faces. He saw stories, struggles, and dreams that had built this community brick by brick. With each rallying cheer, a sense of responsibility weighed heavily on his shoulders. He had a choice to make, not just for himself, but for everyone watching. "We want justice," shouted a woman at the front, tears in her eyes. Her passion struck a chord deep within Marcus. Just days ago he had been a host, a celebrator of success. Now he felt the pulse of a community awakening, fighting for what was right. "Who does she think she is?" a man growled from the back, his fists clenched tight. "She thinks she can push us around." Another voice chimed in, inflating the tension in the room. Angry murmurs rippled, and suddenly, Marcus felt the full force of his own anger wrapping around him like cold chains. Would he step up? He took a steadying breath, and all eyes turned to him. The chatter faded, replaced by an electrifying silence. "We have worked hard for our place in this community," he said, his voice rising above the hushed crowd. "What Valerie did was not just wrong. It was a betrayal to all our dreams." His heart pounded in his chest. He felt alive. Cheers erupted, filling the hall like an unstoppable wave. "Stand up for what's right. Stand together," someone hollered, sparking a flame in everyone present. Yet, amidst this overwhelming support, he could still hear the whispers of doubt. What if this only led to more division? Marcus raised his hand, calling for quiet once more. "We can seek change, not through anger, but through understanding," he pleaded. "Let us show Valerie and everyone like her what unity looks like." A wave of thoughtfulness washed over the room. People exchanged uncertain glances, the fervor shifting, slowly mingling with contemplation. Could he truly turn this confrontation into something more meaningful? And could he forgive Valerie, even when so many wanted vengeance? As the meeting progressed, voices began to strategize instead of shout. "We could organize community dinners. Show them we're good neighbors," suggested an older man, his eyes sparkling with hope. "Let us invite everyone, even those who speak against us." An idea sparked in Marcus's mind. What if they held a town charity event, one that included everyone, no exclusivity allowed? The money raised could go towards scholarships for local students, bridging gaps that Valerie's arrogance had exposed. He felt a rush of exhilaration, the kind that set a fire in his chest. But even as he shared his vision, Marcus caught a glimpse of Valerie, standing outside the hall, observing from a distance. Her expression was unreadable. Was it regret, or was it defiance? Questions spun in his mind. "Are we ready to show what true community looks like?" he asked, directing the energy back to the crowd. It was a bold question, absorbing. The room buzzed with anticipation. Hands shot up in agreement, chanting for action. Yet, in that moment of triumph, one thought lingered. If they succeeded, would Valerie be capable of change? Or would she remain a whisper in the winds of resentment, a figure etched permanently in the village's ongoing tale of division? As the meeting adjourned, hope flooded Marcus's heart. But the unease settled in too, a thorn in his side as he stepped outside. The battle was just beginning, and revelations awaited him just beyond the door. Would he step into the light of reconciliation or fall to the shadows of revenge? The afternoon air hung heavy with uncertainty as Marcus stepped outside, the echo of the town hall meeting still reverberating in his ears. People drifted away, some energized by the newfound sense of purpose, others still burdened by thick clouds of doubt. He felt their energy like a current under his skin, but right now he also felt the weight of fatigue. His emotional reservoir was running low. "Marcus," a voice sliced through the fading buzz. It was Lily, a close friend and fierce supporter. Her freckled face bore both excitement and concern. "Did you really mean it? Can we pull this off?" "Absolutely," he replied, though the conviction wasn't as strong as he'd hoped. "We have to try. We can't let Valerie define our community. We need to show them we're better than that." But what if it all fell apart? The thought nagged at him like a loose thread threatening to unravel the entire fabric of their unity. That as they walked, the weight of the moment smothered them. "What if Valerie doesn't care about what we're trying to do?" she asked, her brows knitted tight. "What if she just continues to divide us?" Marcus stopped. "What if she does? We can't control her actions, but we can control ours." He thought about Valerie's unreadable face, torn between anger and vulnerability. Maybe there was a chance for her, too, to change. Or at least, he hoped so. They reached the park, where familiar faces from the meeting mingled. Laughter mingled with the sound of children playing. The beauty of the moment a stark contrast to the turmoil swirling in Marcus's mind. His own kids laughed nearby, playing tag without a care in the world. The simple joy they radiated filled him with warmth, a reminder of why he was fighting. "Let us set a date for the charity event," he said without looking away from the kids. "We'll need a list of everyone who we should invite, a plan for food, activities, everything." "Okay, but it'll take a lot of work," Lily cautioned, her voice soft. "And we need more than just talk. We need action." "We'll get it done," he asserted, feeling the fire spark again within him. "But we need people to believe this is worth it, to trust that we can be a community again." Just then, a voice broke through the laughter. It was Valerie, stepping towards them, struggling to maintain her composure. She seemed smaller out here, exposed, away from the shields of her title and wealth. Marcus's heart raced. Was she here to confront him? To defend herself? "Marcus," she began, her voice shaky. "Can we talk?" A hush fell over the park. Crickets stopped chirping. Families paused, eyes darting between the two. Was this the moment they'd all been waiting for? Could this be a chance at understanding? Sure," he finally replied, forcing calmness into his tone. "What do you want to say?" Her gaze dropped, reaching for something hidden inside herself. She hesitated, and all eyes held their breath, the weight of the moment more palpable than any he'd faced before. "I didn't know how much I hurt everyone." Marcus felt a surge of conflicting emotions. Could she be genuinely remorseful? Or was this just another calculated play? Around him, the crowd leaned closer, eager to witness what would unfold. As her shoulders sagged under the weight of vulnerability, Marcus knew this was a moment of truth, not just for Valerie but for the entire community. However, his heart whispered a warning. Was it wise to open up to her? With everyone watching, the stakes were high, and he could feel the air thickening with anticipation. Did he truly trust her enough to follow through on this unexpected turn? And then, as he prepared to reply, the question lingered in the air. Could one conversation change the path they were all on, or would it merely deepen the divides? Marcus searched for the right words as he stood across from Valerie, his heart pounding. Hesitation gripped him. Should he give her the benefit of the doubt? How many chances had they all given her before, only to be disappointed again? Families were watching, their eyes reflecting hope, worry, maybe even disbelief. I really didn't understand," Valerie continued, her voice a fragile whisper amidst the crowd. "I was so focused on myself that I didn't see how my actions affected you all." An awkward silence enveloped Marcus. He could feel everyone's gaze, the weight of their expectations pressing down on him. Some glared with deep skepticism, while others seemed ready to embrace this moment of possible reconciliation. Marcus swallowed hard. "Valerie," he finally said, choosing his words carefully, "change is hard for everyone. It's really easy to miss how your decisions affect the community." He paused, feeling the intensity of the moment. "But hurting others isn't the way to lead. People are tired of division and being pushed aside." As he spoke, he could see Valerie's demeanor shift. A tear slid down her cheek, glistening like a beacon against the fading light of day. "I know that now, but what can I do to make it right?" "I want to help," she said, vulnerability seeped in every word. Lily shifted beside him, her expression a mixture of surprise and caution. "Can we trust you, Valerie? Actions speak louder than words. This isn't just about saying you're sorry. What do you really want to do?" Valerie nodded, seeming to absorb Lily's challenge. She took a deep breath, her voice steadier this time. "I want to help organize the charity event. I want to reach out to everyone I've hurt and show them that I can change. I won't let my past define who I am." The audience gasped collectively. Marcus could see the flicker of hope, an ember igniting among the people gathered. Could they really embrace this? "Are you sure you're ready for this?" he asked, wanting to ensure she understood the weight of her words. "This isn't just a social media apology. It has to come from a real place." "I know," Valerie replied, eyes shining with a newfound determination. "I've been given a chance to change. Let me prove it. I'll reach out to the businesses, set up meetings, whatever it takes." Her promise hung in the air, both liberating and daunting. But beneath the overwhelming surge of doubt, Marcus felt a spark of something he hadn't dared to conjure for weeks. Hope. Suddenly, a little boy's laughter broke through the tension. His children resumed playing nearby, the sounds of innocence contrasting with the adult complexities swirling around them. They were young enough to believe in change, in second chances. Could this be their chance at a fresh start? All right, Marcus finally said, unable to hide the cautious optimism in his voice. If you're serious about this, let us bring everyone together. But we'll need your commitment and transparency. The crowd shifted, murmurs swelled, excitement building. People began to rally, eager to see how they could engage in this opportunity. Whether it was through planning, spreading the word, or simply showing up. Valerie looked around, and for the first time, Marcus saw a flicker of something genuine. Could this be it, the shift they all needed? As Marcus took a deep breath, ready to embrace the chaos of what lay ahead, he felt the delicate balance of trust and doubt. Was this the beginning of a journey toward unity, or merely another pit stop on a long road of broken promises? The question lingered, echoing within him, as the sun dipped below the horizon, shadows creeping in, yet leaving room for the light to shine through. Would they unite for a common purpose, or would Valerie's intentions falter once again? The tension crackled in the air, and with every passing moment, he realized that sometimes the hardest decisions come down to taking that first step into the unknown. Marcus watched as confusion washed over the crowd, mingling with hope and that ever-present skepticism. Valerie's openness had sparked something like a match striking a flame, but uncertainty loomed heavily. It was as if everyone collectively held their breath, waiting for the next moment to unfold. Valerie took a step closer, her hands nervously fidgeting with the fabric of her dress. "I know I've made mistakes, and I've hurt people," she said, her voice softer now, almost pleading. "But I want to be better for all of you, for your families. I really do." There was a murmur among the gathered families, glances exchanged. Some seemed intrigued, while others looked ready to dismiss her entirely. Actions speak louder than words. A man called out from the edge of the crowd, a middle-aged father with a worn-down face that reflected years of struggle. "We need to see you back it up. Words don't mean much anymore." Marcus nodded in agreement. He felt the same. Valerie's sincerity could very well be part of yet another facade. "We all want the best for our community, Valerie. But if you're serious about this, you'll need to prove it. Have a plan, create a timeline. Let us see your willingness to work." Valerie straightened her shoulders, determination flickering in her eyes. "I promise I will. There is so much to do, and I want to start right away. I'll reach out to the local businesses, hold meetings to discuss the event. I'll show every one of you that I can make a real change." A heavy silence fell again. People were thinking, weighing their options. Could they really trust her this time? Marcus could feel the tension swell with each passing second. Just then, a woman from the back spoke up. "You hurt my family, Valerie. You turned your back on us when we needed you the most. How do I know this isn't just another act?" Her voice cracked, revealing the hurt that still lingered. Valerie's expression softened, and the vulnerability returned. "I know, I can't change the past, but I want to address it. I don't expect forgiveness right away, but I'll do whatever it takes to earn it." The crowd leaned in, curiosity sparking brighter in the closeness. Children nearby paused their game, sensing the gravity of the moment as parents whispered amongst themselves. "A charity event is one thing," Marcus interjected, stepping forward, "but rebuilding trust is much deeper. We need to work together, attend community meetings, stand side by side. Trust isn't just given. It's built." As he spoke, he felt the energy shift. There was a glimmer of possibility in the air, a spark of community spirit that had dimmed for so long. He could see others beginning to nod, voices of encouragement picking up speed. "I'll do it," Valerie declared, passion filling her voice. "I want to just set up an event. I'll dive into this community, hear everyone's stories, understand their struggles. I'll be there not just to lead but to listen, to learn together." Something inside Marcus stirred. Maybe it was the hope of something better. Maybe it was the desire for connection that had felt so distant for too long. "All right, then," Marcus said, feeling adrenaline surge through him. Let's set the groundwork for a community meeting next week. We'll start getting everyone involved. People started applauding, a subtle but significant wave of support. Valerie's smile was tentative, but it reached her eyes. Thank you all, she exclaimed, the relief palpable in her voice. But beneath it all, Marcus couldn't shake the question darting through his mind. Was this the real beginning or just another fleeting moment that would slip away into disappointment? As the gathering slowly began to disperse, a familiar sense of anxiety returned of navigating uncharted waters. The trust they sought would take time, perhaps a lifetime. Could Valerie hold up her end of the bargain? The night air was thick with uncertainty, and as darkness settled, Marcus knew the real challenges lay ahead. Though the flicker of hope ignited a willingness to believe, the path forward was still riddled with doubts. Just as he turned to leave, he caught a glimpse of Valerie, her eyes scanning the crowd with a glimmer of resolve. But what if this time her commitment wavered? Would trust, once broken, be so easily repaired? As the last echoes of the gathering faded into the night, Marcus felt a weight press down, longing for answers that seemed ever elusive. The next morning, the sun filtered in gently through the curtains, casting a warm glow across the room. Marcus sat at his kitchen table, half-finished coffee in hand, staring out the window. The events of the previous night replayed in his mind like a movie he couldn't pause. He felt the hope but also the shadow of doubt creeping back in. Valerie had made promises before, hadn't she? He shook his head, trying to dispel the negative thoughts. He could already hear the buzz of conversation from the nearby community center. The buzz of planning and preparing for the meeting next week sparked both excitement and anxiety in him. It was a chance for change, a chance to rekindle that long-lost trust. Just then, his phone buzzed, breaking his train of thought. It was a message from Valerie. "Can we meet? I have some ideas and I want to run them by you." Marcus hesitated for a moment, feeling a push-pull in his gut. He wanted to help his community, but did that mean putting himself in Valerie's hands again? Eventually, curiosity won out, and he replied with an enthusiastic sure. Later that day, as he made his way to the coffee shop where they agreed to meet, a surge of determination filled him. Here it was, the potential start of something significant. He prayed this wasn't just another empty promise. Arriving at the shop, he spotted Valerie seated in a corner, her fingers tapping nervously against her coffee cup. She looked up and waved, a quick smile flashing across her face. It wasn't the same woman he had seen back then, all bravado and disconnected from her actions. This was someone who seemed to carry the weight of expectation, and maybe even remorse. "Thanks for meeting me," she said, her voice steady yet filled with an underlying tension. "I'm excited about this, but I also know it's a big task." Marcus took a seat across from her and nodded. "So, what do you have in mind?" Valerie leaned forward, her voice dropping to a whisper as if the walls might overhear. "I want to host a series of local events that bring everyone together, focusing on our stories, our struggles. Not just that charity event. I want the community to feel involved, heard, and respected." Marcus squinted slightly, processing her words. "That sounds promising. But how do you suggest we build the trust needed for this?" She looked pensive for a moment. "I think we should start smaller. Maybe hold a few open forums workshops where people can talk about what they want for the community. For us to listen more than we speak." "Listening is crucial," he agreed, feeling a small spark of hope flicker. "But we need to back it up with actions. People need to see we're committed." Valerie nodded earnestly. "That's why I brought something with me." From her bag, she pulled out a folder filled with notes. "I've already started drafting ideas for what those workshops could look like, what food we could serve. I want to involve local businesses, too." As she flipped through her notes, Marcus felt admiration creeping in. This was the kind of proactive attitude the community needed. He leaned in, intrigued. But even as excitement grew, a thought nagged at him. Was this a genuine turn for Valerie, or merely a strategic move to salvage her reputation? He couldn't shake the feeling that her past loomed like an anchor, tethering her to mistakes she might not yet fully comprehend. The conversation flowed back and forth, a delicate dance of ideas and aspirations. Valerie was animated, enthusiasm spilling from her as she shared her plans. The ideas felt good, they felt right, but deep down, Marcus was aware that the community's healing couldn't simply be tied to a set of events. It was much more complex, far-reaching. As their discussion wrapped up, Valerie looked at him with sincerity. "Will you stand by me through this?" Marcus took a moment, vulnerability flickering in his own gaze. "If you're all in, then yes. But I need to know you won't give up when things get tough." "Marcus, I swear I won't." As they exchanged ideas, a sense of unity began to form, fragile yet present. But Marcy's knew all too well. That trust, once shattered, isn't so easily mended. There were still questions lingering, shadows in her pledge. With each word they exchanged, the weight of the past pressed heavier on their shoulders. He could sense the community wasn't easily swayed by promises. He wouldn't be either. The road ahead was not just uncertain. It was a journey into the heart of what it meant to truly heal and rebuild. As they parted ways that afternoon, Marcus felt the flicker of hope alongside doubt, like two sides of a coin. Could they genuinely create something new? Or would the weight of history pull them back yet again? Only time would tell. The promise of action and change lingered in the air. But as he stepped outside, uncertainty gnawed at his heart. Was it brave to hope, or foolish? But in seeking answers, he couldn't shake the feeling that everything was shifting, something was about to change. The following day, the mood in the air felt electric as Marcus arrived at the community center. Workers were busy setting up chairs, while volunteers were arranging tables, the smell of fresh coffee wafting about. This was not just another meeting. This was the beginning of something, or at least Marcus hoped it would be. The anticipation bubbled within him, yet so did the anxiety. He spotted Valerie across the room, her brows furrowed in concentration as she spoke with a few other volunteers. She seemed different today, radiating confidence. The flicker of determination lit in her eyes. He wanted to feel reassured, but the shadows of their past loomed larger than ever. "Hey, Marcus," a voice broke through his thoughts. It was Linda, a longtime resident who had always kept her pulse on the community's heartbeat. "You excited for the forums? It's about time we start voicing what we want." "Yeah, I guess," Marcus replied, forcing a smile. "A lot rides on this, though." Linda nodded knowingly. "You know what they say, right? Nothing worth having comes easy. Just look at Valerie, she's really trying this time." Before he could respond, Valerie approached, her smile infectious. "Ready to kick things off?" she asked, hands clasped with uncharacteristic eagerness. "I suppose so," he replied, feeling the weight of expectation. As they moved into the main hall, Marcus noticed the room was filling up. People he recognized from the community trickled in, each wearing a mix of hope and skepticism. Some exchanged friendly waves, while others shared guarded glances. Marcus took a deep breath and mentally prepared himself for what lay ahead. Valerie took center stage, her demeanor shifting instantly from approachable to commanding. "Thank you all for coming," she began, her voice resonating within the walls. "Today marks a new chapter for our community. We're here to hear your voices and share your stories." Her words sparked an immediate buzz throughout the crowd. It was a mixture of encouragement and disbelief. Valerie continued, detailing plans for the forums. Shared meals, storytelling sessions, and workshops designed to foster solidarity. But even as she spoke, some whispered among themselves. "Can we trust her?" Marcus caught snippets of doubt, each voice a reminder that history was heavy. As the first volunteer stepped forward to share, a palpable shift occurred. Stories flowed real, raw experiences of struggles, triumphs, and the desire for a brighter future. With each passing tale, Marcus felt the atmosphere change, the tension easing ever so slightly. But then it happened. One woman, furious and shaking, stood abruptly. "We've heard it all before. Wasted promises and empty words. How can we join this when our trust has been shattered?" The room quieted as eyes turned towards her. The uncertainty had risen to the surface, a reminder that many were still holding tightly to their hurt. Marcus' heart raced. He could feel the tension seep into the air like a thick fog. He exchanged a quick glance with Valerie, unsure how she would respond. The moment felt critical. Would she falter? Would she reinstate old fears? Valerie took a deep breath, her resolve shifting into something empathetic. "I understand," she replied softly, "and I know our past can't be rewritten. But I'm here to listen today." Her words pierced through the weight of skepticism, yet Marcus couldn't be entirely convinced. Could this really be a moment of genuine connection? The atmosphere took on a new depth as stories continued to spill forth, voices growing stronger amid shared vulnerabilities. Marcus began to feel the crowd's energy transform, a mixture of hope and wariness simmering beneath the surface. But lurking within him was a question that never fully quieted. Was this the turning point for Valerie, or merely another attempt to save face? As the gathering drew to a close, people began to mingle, sharing thoughts and opinions, some excited, others still guarded. Valerie was in the thick of it, engaging, listening, but he could sense a lingering tension. Marcus felt claustrophobic amidst the swirling emotions. Then he caught sight of Linda. She waved him over, her eyes alight with a spark of enthusiasm. "This could really work, Marcus. Can you feel it?" He wanted to share her optimism but found himself trapped between hope and doubt. "We'll see," he said, a half-hearted smile etched on his face. In that uncertain moment, he watched Valerie stand amidst the crowd, struggling against shadows of her own past while striving to create something meaningful. The sense of unity was real, but would it hold? They were at the cusp of something, that much he knew. But could they all genuinely move forward together? Or would the weight of history prove stronger? Suddenly, the door swung open, and a newcomer stepped inside. The buzz of conversation halted. A figure walked in like a storm, bringing both tension and intrigue. Marcus felt a chill run down his spine. Who was this person? What impact would they have on this fragile moment? The newcomer strolled in with an air of confidence that caught everyone's attention, a tall figure dressed in tailored clothes, exuding a blend of elegance and power. Marcus squinted, straining to recognize the person, who seemed to command the room without uttering a single word. It was as if the weight of their presence rivaled even Valerie's passionate plea just moments before. A whisper cut through the crowd, rough like gravel. "SNT, that Charlie Mercer? The tech mogul?" Marcus could barely grasp the shock in the room, but he couldn't deny it. Charlie was more than just a local name. He was a titan, someone whose influence extended far beyond their small community. The temperature shifted. Eyes darted between Charlie and Valerie as though the air crackled with expectation. What was he doing here? Didn't he have his own yacht parties to attend? The tension in Marcus's chest mounted as he felt the double-edged sword of admiration and resentment towards this man who showed up unannounced in their midst. Valerie, whose confidence had recently swelled, faltered for just a second. "Welcome, Charlie," she called out, trying to mask the shock in her voice. "We're just getting started with our community forum." Charlie's cool gaze swept over the room, landing on Valerie for a moment longer than necessary. "Hope I'm not crashing anything important," he replied, a hint of amusement in his eyes. The sardonic tone in his voice made a few people shift uncomfortably, reminding everyone that wealth came with its own set of expectations and a disregard for boundaries. "Not at all, just having an honest conversation about community needs," Valerie replied, striving to hold her ground, but a flicker of doubt crossed her face. Who were they to compete with the likes of Charlie? As murmurings filled the air, Marcus felt his heart quicken. Questions whirled in his mind. Was this event about to become a spectacle? Would Charlie share his opinions on the town and overshadow their voices? The fear of betrayal lingered, an echo of the town's history that still resonated deeply. Suddenly, Charlie took a leisurely stroll toward the refreshments, scanning the gathering with an air of superiority. "Nice to see everyone," he remarked casually, claiming a plastic cup of punch like it was private stock. "What are we working on today? More empty promises?" A silence fell, thick and heavy. Valerie's expression hardened. This was her moment, and she needed to reclaim it. "Actually, we are attempting to build something real here. Some of us have decided enough is enough," she replied sharply, the conviction in her voice surprisingly strong. No need to get defensive. Charlie's tone remained playful yet cutting. Just thought you all could use some expertise. Community initiatives are cute, but the real world, you think we can't handle the real world? For the first time, it was Linda who stepped forward, frustration bubbling at the surface. We've been living it, Charlie. We're not just your charity project. The room shifted again. The power dynamics felt as if they had shifted from Valerie to Linda, and Marcus felt the tension uncoil just a bit. The whispering commentary resumed, voices reflecting surprise and rising indignation. Charlie appeared momentarily taken aback. All right. I hear you, he chuckled, though it sounded a little forced. Maybe I misjudged. But if you all want change, the first step is using the right tools. Marcus's head spun. Was this just another game for him? He had always been about leveraging influence. Did he really want to help, or simply lead the charge with his own agenda? Questions hung heavy in the air, competing for space: fear, resentment, hope, and anger. Was he willing to stand against Charlie and defend the community? And would Valerie find the strength to take this moment back? Valerie caught his gaze from across the room. The determination in her eyes was clear. She wasn't backing down. As conversations began to erupt once more, Marcus felt the weight of the question growing sharp in his mind. Would their shared history bind them as a united front, or would the arrival of the billionaire mark the end of their moment, leaving them fractured once again? It was a fragile state as both sides braced for the challenge ahead. But in that moment he also found something, a flicker of hope amidst the chaos. As he turned back to the unfolding drama, he realized this was only the beginning. The battle lines were drawn, and loyalties would soon be tested. Then, with all eyes upon her, Valerie stepped forward, ready to draw the line in the sand. How far was she willing to go for the community? The question loomed, echoing in the tension-filled room. Valerie took a deep breath, steadying herself, as the crowd's murmurs began to fade. She could feel their expectations pressing down on her shoulders. The weight of their hope mixed with the chill of uncertainty drew her into focus, her heart racing like a drumbeat urging her forward. Charlie, let us be real here, Valerie began, her voice steady and strong. We're not looking for handouts. We've found our own paths. We know our community's needs better than anyone. This isn't about expertise from an outsider. It's about our lived experiences. We don't need your guidance to know what we want. The tension in the room cracked, and gasps echoed through the air like the snap of a twig. Marcus felt his chest swell with pride. Valerie was not just defending her voice, but that of everyone who had stood together, dreaming for a better tomorrow. Charlie tilted his head slightly, a smirk playing at the corners of his mouth as if he were at a comedy show rather than a community forum. Interesting take. But tell me, what's your plan? A bake sale? You need a strategy. His casual dismissal made some members of the audience shift awkwardly, faces falling, the hope Valerie had inspired dissipating painfully. Linda stepped forward again, her spine straightening. We're not here to discuss strategies in your corporate terms, Charlie. We are not a startup dependent on venture capital. We're looking to build a community. Her eyes sparkled with emotion, each word punctuating her conviction. And what we build has heart, soul. It's not something you can measure on a balance sheet. A few heads nodded in approval, murmurs of agreement rippling through the spectators. The atmosphere transformed, a sense of unity emerging against the mountain of indifference that Charlie represented. Marcus glanced around, feeling the swell of allies rallying to Valerie's side. This was their home. They had a voice, and they were no longer afraid to use it. But Charlie wasn't finished. He leaned against the refreshment table, arms crossed, an amused look in his eyes. Sounds noble, he replied dismissively, but let us be honest. Nothing substantial ever came from hope alone. If you truly want to make a difference, you need the right connections, people like me. You think that's the answer? Valerie shot back, her voice gaining strength. That it's all about who you know, not what you care about. Maybe it is easier for you to just throw money at a problem instead of getting your hands dirty. Charlie. But that's not who we are. We want to grow together with resilience. The room erupted into murmurs again, a swirling mixture of encouragement and defiance. Marcus felt a deep sense of pride for the way Valerie's words resonated with the crowd, awakening the spirit within them all. Charlie's gaze hardened, the amusement fading into something sharper, more calculated. You're a feisty one, Valerie. How long before you realize that fighting against the tide is fruitless? I excel in the real world because I know how to play the game. It's amusing to watch you all try to compete without any resources, though. The atmosphere sizzled with tension. Marcus sensed an awakening. A fierce spirit ignited not just in Valerie and Linda, but in everyone in the room, people who had felt marginalized, overlooked, ignored all their lives. I don't need a game, Valerie countered, holding her ground. I need my community, and we're ready to create change our way. Onlookers filled with hope cheered softly, and with each clap, uncertainty began to peel away like old wallpaper. But just as the energy peaked, a sound echoed through the gathering. A smartphone chimed, piercing the moment like a jolt of lightning. Someone gasped. Murmurs shifted to gasps, then to tense whispers. Marcus turned to the source. A news alert was lighting up someone's screen, Charlie's name intertwined with a scandal. Just what we need, more distractions, Charlie said coolly, trying to regain control. No. Valerie's voice emerged louder now. We need the truth. If you think your money or your status will silence us, you're mistaken. With that, something shifted in the room, a unanimous understanding that grew stronger by the second. Marcus held his breath, the unfolding drama drawing him closer to the edges of his seat. The news alert flashed across the screen again, and the whispers grew louder. There was fear, suspicion, yet also a network of solidarity forming. What was about to break surface now? What roads lay ahead? As the atmosphere thickened with anticipation, the question lingered. Would the truth unveil a new path forward, or would it lead to deeper fractures? Who would find their footing in the aftermath? Valerie looked around, her eyes bright with determination. She had handed the challenge right back to Charlie, and now the moment hung suspended, waiting for someone to take the next step. What truth was about to break, and how would it change everything? The silence was electric, the air thick with anticipation as the crowd leaned in, ears attuned to the latest news. Valerie's defiance held the room, but now the focus turned to Charlie, whose expression shifted rapidly from cool arrogance to something resembling uncertainty. The smartphone screen flashed again, a headline lighting the tension like a spark in dry brush. Charlie Mercer in hot water over fraud allegations. Murmurs rippled through the audience. Those once wary began to feel the tables tilt. Had this moment of confrontation just unearthed something deeper? Valerie's eyes narrowed, fueled by the crowd's escalating curiosity. What's your response to this, Charlie? She demanded, her voice steady. How will you explain your actions to the community? A moment's mistake doesn't define a man, he replied, his bravado wavering. But the crowd was not as easily placated. More eyes locked onto his, reflecting the doubt that had begun swirling around him. Did you lie to us about your intentions? Or are you hiding something even deeper? A voice echoed from the back, raw and fiery. Murmurs of agreement followed, igniting a sense of shared energy among the community members. Marcus felt a surge of hope for the first time all day. Charlie straightened, visibly shaken but still trying to maintain his composure. These accusations have been blown out of proportion. I'm a businessman, and business is, unfortunately, a dog-eat-dog world, he said, attempting to regain some control. You need to learn to play the game. Valerie stepped gracefully forward. We don't need your games, Charlie. We need honesty. If you think your wealth can shield you from accountability, think again. The roar of support from the crowd echoed her words, the rhythm of unity pulsating through the hall. People stood taller, voices raised higher. The momentum shifted like a tidal wave. We're not here for your finances or your influence. We're here for our community, for everyone's story. Marcus added, emboldened by Valerie's courage. This isn't just about you anymore. The time for change is now. Laughter ensued, echoing as others rallied in support. The tides of fortune had turned. It was clear now. They weren't going to let Charlie's presence overshadow their resolve. They were no longer mere spectators in a power struggle. They were participants ready to stake their claim as the gathering continued. Each voice carried a renewed sense of belonging. Stories poured forth from their hearts, testament to their struggles and resilience. No longer overshadowed by power and influence, they were reclaiming the narrative of their community. Charlie's bravado faded, replaced with palpable tension. "You'll regret this," he warned, but no longer did he hold the reins of power in this moment. Valerie turned to the audience, eyes swirling with fervor. "Today we decide our trajectory. We create our path. Let us not just talk, let us act. Let us plan, and let us build what we want our community to be." The crowd erupted, rallying behind her and pushing the barriers higher. They were a united front. Amidst the fervor, Marcus felt a sense of belonging swell within him, the fears and doubts he harbored slowly unwinding. Each smile, each clap sparked a warmth that rolled through, lapping at the edges of uncertainty. This was their moment. As the meeting drew to a close, Valerie took one more look around the room, each face reflecting determination, every heart radiating with the promise of a new dawn. She whispered, "Together we can create something incredible." Marcus stepped forward, resolute. "And together we will. We are starting with real conversations, and we will build toward long-lasting change. It won't happen overnight, but it will happen if we stand as one." As they left the hall, everything felt lighter, as if burdens were being shed with every step outside. The community had found its voice, and perhaps this was the turning point they had all been waiting for. Days turned into weeks, and the energy persisted. Plans were laid for community events that spanned the summer. Barbecues, workshops, and storytelling evenings where everyone's voice could be heard. The charity event became a real hallmark of community pride, bridging essential needs with the spirit of connection. Months later, as the sun dipped low over the horizon, casting a warm glow across the park, families gathered, laughter filling the air like a symphony. Friends and long-lost neighbors exchanged stories, their bonds rapidly strengthening. Valerie stood at the center of it all, a network of love enveloping her. Marcus joined her, looking over the thriving scene. "You did it, Valerie," he said, "and it was real. You changed. You led us toward something beautiful." Valerie's eyes shimmered with tears of joy. "We did it, Marcus. Together." Their shoulders touched, a silent acknowledgement of everything they had overcome, a testament to their shared transformation. They had woven a tapestry of resilience and hope, a legacy that would thrive far beyond their wildest dreams. As night enveloped the park, the stars twinkled above, echoing the spirit of unity they had forged. This was not just a moment. This was a movement. It was time to share this story. You need to subscribe now to not miss the next exclusive moments that inspire. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help spread this incredible transformation. Comment your thoughts and feelings about this journey. Your voice matters. And don't wait not even one more second. Share this video with at least 5 friends who need the spark of hope this story provides. Together we can make change happen.